You are Locked On NBA Crossover, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome. What is up? It is the Locked On Clippers and Lakers crossover postcast. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for NBC Sports Radio and ESPN LA. This is my man Dave Pele, covering sports in Southern California from San Diego all the way up to LA since like the 70s. He knows everything there is to know. You know, he was friends with Shaq and Kobe. They hung out. So when it comes to Lakers, he's one of many people that know everything there is to know. So
I'd like to say so. I'd like to say so.
Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers Lakers crossover postcast brought to you by Prize Picks. Now that's the perfect time to join. Download the app and use the code Locked On NBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. No need to win to get the bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Well, Dave, this was a fun game. I feel like one of the more interesting, kind of exciting, pressure-packed game for the Clippers anyway. I don't know if the Lakers took it the same way, but let's not forget that last year, the Clippers, for the first time since 2011, did not win the season series. Lakers did, and the final game was an absolute disaster. I don't know if you remember that game on February 28th, but the Clippers blew a 21-point lead. LeBron went off. The Clippers were the home team, and it sounded like the Lakers were. It was just an embarrassing performance. Now, obviously, very different teams from last year to this year. I don't know if that was hanging in the back of their mind at all. Obviously, the other thing that's a big factor in tonight's game was the first time the Lakers have appeared at Intuit Dome. So the first real home game for the Clippers against the Lakers. And I thought it was amazing the way the game started. You could hear the crowd. They were fired up early. Clippers came out fired up early. So, you know, it felt to me like the intensity was at a different level for the Clippers, especially when Kawhi Leonard was on the floor. They weathered the storm because of the minutes restriction on Kawhi and got the win 116-102. But there were some times when the Lakers looked good. When this one was all said and done, how did you think they performed?
Very disappointing game for the Lakers, and it's been a disappointing season. I mean, you want to give, at least I do, I want to give JJ Redick the benefit of the doubt that this was a good hire. But when I watch the Lakers night in and night out, it becomes very frustrating that the Lakers offense is just a lot of standing around. You know, there's not a lot of things the Lakers do to create open shots. It seems like every shot the Lakers have is always a contested shot. No matter who they play, it seems like the teams they're going against seem to have wide open looks, at least space to hit those threes. Now, JJ Redick, as Clipper fans know, was a tremendous three-point shooter, and he made a joke, maybe made a joke at the beginning of the season. He'd like to see the team rifle up 55 three-point attempts a game. This is not a good shooting team, not a good defensive team. So when you're shooting threes, it creates a problem in transition. And so for the Lakers, they continue to struggle. And for a team that has two Hall of Famers in Anthony Davis and LeBron James, you'd expect the Lakers to figure out a way to not only play to their strengths, but to get the guys around them to play to their strengths. And it's very disappointing. It feels like JJ Redick is coaching a team that you'd be better off if he was coaching a team like the Warriors or even the Atlanta Hawks or even the Clippers. But it doesn't seem like he understands what the strengths are of this Laker team. And right now it's a poor defensive team. The roster's not constructed very well. Everyone's waiting for Rob Pelinka to make a different move. He didn't pull off a trade a couple weeks ago with the Nets. It is not the right trade. It is not exactly what has fixed the problems. And right now, this Laker team, and for Laker fans, we're chasing championships. We aren't chasing playoff appearances. And, you mentioned, the Clippers Lakers is their, the key word is rivalry. Well, Clipper fans always want to beat the Lakers. Lakers want to take care of business with the Clippers. I mean, there's a team on the schedule in town expected to win. And this goes way back to the days when the Clippers moved from San Diego to Los Angeles, where the Clippers were never a threat. And when they used to play at the sports arena, I used to cover both teams, believe it or not, the Clippers and the Lakers. And, the Clippers at the LA Sports Arena, they hardly drew anybody. They used to do the attendance. I mean, you could go, there are 916 people here. I just counted. Unless there's somebody in the bathroom, I know exactly what that number is. But the Clippers are different. And Steve Ballmer has made things different. And so for the Lakers, it's one of those, I think, for Laker fans, we're tired of losing season series to this team. And now that they have their own place in the Intuit Dome, I thought LeBron James, honestly, the way it started, Pete, is you always hear like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron, the records they have like at Madison Square Garden, that LeBron was going to open up the Intuit Dome with the Lakers and he was going to go for about 50 tonight, and it didn't go that way. And Norman Powell, believe it or not, was he was the thorn in the side at the very beginning, and the Lakers had no answer. Halfway through the first quarter, this game was almost already decided, and when you watch the last two games, the Nets against the Clippers completely crushed the Nets. Lakers against the Nets pulled off a 1-point win. It's night and day in where these two teams are. I know what the standings say as far as coming in. One was a 4 seed, one was a 5 seed, or one was a 5 seed, one was a 6 seed. It's the Clippers are just much better right now than the Lakers, and the Lakers have major problems.
It's funny that you say that the Lakers have no defense, because early in the game, I thought the Clippers were playing no defense and just giving the Lakers wide open looks, and they were taking advantage of that, keeping the game tight there in the first. Clippers started to pull away a little bit by the second, widened the lead to 26 by the second half. Lakers rallied a little bit. But I think there are some similarities between these two teams from the standpoint. And of course, I'm speaking right now of the Clippers without Kawhi Leonard. I feel like at times they're too star focused, too star centric, and they become an ISO ball team, and that's not good for them, in my opinion. I also feel like at times they struggle to find their identity. Same thing for the Lakers at times. They obviously have two very big stars, and Austin Reeves can fill it up at times. And Max Christie, I thought, was shooting the ball well tonight, 4 of 7, a couple of threes for 10 points, but he didn't really have a lot of looks in the second half. So, it's similar at times for the Clippers as well. Obviously, when Kawhi is on the floor, it is a much different team. The energy is different. The impetus to pass the ball is different. There's so many good things that come with Kawhi Leonard being on the floor for this Clipper team. So 3 in a row now after the 116-102 win. Lakers are 22-18, 8-11 on the road. Clippers are 24-17. Busy week. They're on a back-to-back tonight. They play Chicago tomorrow. But yeah, I've said it before. I don't understand the idea of hiring a guy to be your coach that's never coached before. And that's not just because it's JJ Redick and the Lakers. I don't understand it in any sport at all. Like, you've never coached before. That doesn't mean you know the game, but coaching a game and knowing the game are very different things. So I look at this team and I go, I don't know that JJ Redick knows what he's doing. And there are times when I look at the Clippers and I go, I don't know if Tyronn Lue knows what he's doing. Obviously, he does a little bit more. He's got a championship under his belt, but that was due in large part to the talents of LeBron James. So I feel like these teams are fairly close, but with Kawhi Leonard back in the rotation for the Clippers, when they get the minute restriction off, we're going to see a lot on Wednesday as they play the Boston Celtics in Intuit Dome. Of course, they'll have a day off, being Tuesday. But tomorrow it's probably going to be light minutes for the starters. They'll probably get smoked by the Chicago Bulls in preparation for the Boston Celtics. But yeah, tonight I thought they played very well, especially in the first half. They kind of came apart at the end of the third. Brian Seaman kept talking about it over and over again, and it's true. The Clippers do fall apart at the end of quarters, and I can't quite figure out why, other than they're getting tired or they're playing well and then they get bored. It's weird. They're on a 17-4 run, and then they start to fall apart a little bit. It wasn't so bad in the second. It was a little worse in the third. That's when the Lakers kind of got back into it. But I don't know. I wanted to ask you about Harden. I mean, we've talked about it off the air a few times, but to me, I thought he had a nice game, but there was definitely some times where I was like, Harden, stop turning the ball over. Just trying to do his fancy between the legs dribble and just kicks it away to the Lakers. There was one series where he went ISO down by the right block shot. Next one, turned it over somehow stupid. And then he comes down the floor, bangs down a 3. That's why most people are like, whatever, as long as he keeps hitting the threes, I don't care about the turnovers. I guess I get frustrated sometimes where it's like, do you have to keep turning the ball over? Is that just part of your MO, but lately he's been passing the ball really well, and that's been nice to see. What's your thought? Well, actually, we got to hit the break. This perfect tease. We're going to get Dave's feelings on James Harden's game coming up after the break. It's the Locked On Clippers crossover postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. All right, tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast brought to you by Prize Picks. Basketball season heating up, and there's no better way to get real money action while watching your favorite NBA stars than with Prize Picks. When you're a diehard fan, you just love some friendly competition. Prize Picks makes it fun and easy to turn your basketball knowledge into cash. Here's how it works. You pick more or less on at least 2 players from 2 teams, up to 6 players, and you can win 1,000 times your money. Prize Picks lets you make your predictions and put your money where your mouth is in just 60 seconds. One of the cool things about Prize Picks for me is the way you get your money back when you win. They do it with PayPal, and it happens like in under a half hour. Getting your deposit in is also super hassle-free, so it's very, very user-friendly. And there's a lot of options. There's infinite number of options when it comes to putting together your selection. So you can make any game way more entertaining and interesting with Prize Picks. It's the perfect time to join. Just download the app or go to their website and use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's right, $50 instantly. No need to win to get that bonus. It is guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. Forgot to put up the overlay, Dave.
There you go. It's right there for everybody.
There it is right there. It's the Locked On Clippers Lakers crossover postcast. Lakers at their first visit to Intuit Dome. I thought they started off well. The game was fun in the beginning because it was just back and forth. Both teams shooting over 50% in the first quarter rather. Lakers playing some good basketball. LeBron was burying shots all over the place. Started to come apart a little bit in the second half, but he is 40, so let's not forget that. 116 final. Yeah, he's still playing amazing. Yeah, he is fantastic and always fun to watch. Anthony Davis, not a great night. It was okay. 5 of 14, 0 for 1 from beyond the arc, 16 points. But back to Harden. What's your take on where his game is right now? I feel like it's better when Kawhi is on the floor, but
I think everybody is better when Kawhi is on the floor. I mean, Kawhi, again, 24 minutes a night, 19 points,
well
9 to 13 shooting. I mean, Kawhi is a tremendous basketball player. And the biggest problem with Kawhi is, will he be remembered for being the tremendous basketball player he is, or for all the games that he missed? And it's disappointing. He went to San Diego State. I'm a San Diego State alum. So, we're proud of the guys that went to our school.
Yeah.
And with Kawhi, all the injuries, it becomes frustrating that, he's had the kind of career that he's had. And I'm sure for even Steve Ballmer and for the fans, they would like to see him a lot more than they do. But his body is what it is. So, going back to, what you said about James Harden. Yeah, he's better when he has Kawhi on the floor. So is Norman Powell. So is everybody on that team. But with Harden, he's going to be remembered, to me, kind of interesting, where you and I are both big basketball fans, and he can go down, to me, in that category. When you talk about great one-on-one players, he's right there. I mean, Allen Iverson was a fantastic one-on-one player too. The deal is, with everything with James Harden, with able to create space and be able to shoot the ball and hardly ever get a shot blocked. It did happen tonight, and it's rare. To get a shot off and then go to the free throw line. I think tonight he only attempted 3 free throws. But it used to be he used to go to the free throw line a lot. Same with LeBron, by the way. He used to go to the free throw line a lot. Now he doesn't. And it becomes frustrating because that was part of their game. But James is a fantastic player and has been great everywhere he's been. He just hasn't won a championship, right? You can even make the argument after he left teams, those teams got better after he left. And what's he also known for? The criticism, he doesn't show up in the playoffs. James Harden's supposed to be a terrible postseason player. And whether you want to say it's his defense or his shot's not there, or maybe, as we talked about, the effort, the effort from teams like the Lakers or the Clippers at times, where you say that, the Clippers are a bad team when it comes to finishing quarters. The Lakers are a bad team when it comes to starting quarters. They finish quarters really well. They did it tonight in the third quarter. They finished on, I think, an 11-2 run or 13-2 run. But with James Harden, as good as he is, you'd like him to remain in the team aspect. And I think that's what Tyronn Lue's trying to get the most out of him. And as he's getting older, maybe I'm off. You follow this team every single night. I try and watch as many Clipper games as I can. I think James Harden is kind of slowed it down as far as getting the team involved more, saying, you know what, if we're going to win, I have to be more of a facilitator than just a scorer to help this team win.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I feel like that's where the Kawhi aspect of his game improves, when Kawhi is on the floor. And I guess you have to give him credit for this, that he becomes a facilitator, and his passing lately in the last few games during this little win streak that they're on right now has been so on point. He had that one behind the back pass to Zoo. That was sweet. He did this a lot last year when he first arrived at the team. He would make these, I don't want to call them no look passes, but they were, side eye passes, if you will, like across the court, right, to a guy in the corner who was open and would bang down the three. We haven't seen a lot of that this year because he hasn't been able to, because Kawhi's been out. Now that Kawhi's back, he's gotten back on that train a little bit, and that's nice to see, where he and Derrick Jones Jr. And Porter Jr. have this connection, especially with him and Derrick Jones Jr. in the alley hoops. I mean, he can see out the side of his eye as Perif that DJ's heading towards the basket, and he'll just loft one up to him, and it's like clockwork. It's so smooth. And I appreciate that aspect of his game, but I just get frustrated with the turnovers. If he, like tonight in a night when the Clippers didn't have a lot of turnovers, 12 in all is a very good night for them. He had 5. I mean, come on, like, what are you doing? You're killing me with the turnovers. So I guess you just have to take the good with the bad, all in all. In a nice win for the Lakers. I mean, for the Clippers, they really did feel like, to me, I felt like that they stepped up, and that's something that we've questioned as Clipper fans. Like, are they able to win big games against good teams? Now, whether or not the Lakers are a good team is hard to say, but when the Lakers and Clippers match up, there's a different energy for sure. Even though, and I agree with you, even the Clippers for years have said it's not a rivalry. They've got 17 championships. We've never even been to the finals. This is not a rivalry. This is two teams playing basketball in the same city. That's what it boils down to. So, but it feels like a rivalry.
It does, and it is. It is. The Lakers fans don't want to admit that. It is. You don't want to lose to the Clippers. The Lakers with Magic Johnson, once in a blue moon. I mean, it seemed like it never happened. They lost to the Clippers. I still remember, when I covered the team. The Lakers were at the Forum and the Clippers at the LA Sports Arena, and the Lakers win. And Nick Van Exel yells at the Clippers because they went down the same hallway. Shake your rear end back to Compton. He yells at the Clipper guys, like, what? And it almost started a fight. But the Clippers had nothing to push back on because the Clippers stunk. I mean, there's so many Clipper jokes over the years. And Bill Fitch, who was former Celtic and Clipper coach, he had one of the funniest lines ever, Pete. He said, I think they started out like 0-18, and he just said, I think there are 2 media members there. I was one of them, and he just goes, man, this team is so bad. They're the only team that can lose 18 games in a row and then go into a slump. And it was always funny. It was just a running joke. I mean, it was the NBA, but it didn't feel like the NBA. Like, it was like the only team in the league where you could watch the game from the stands and you're like, I think I could play. Like, I think I could play with these guys. And it's different now. I mean, the Lakers have been getting beat on a regular basis by the Clippers for a number of years. Yeah, the Clippers haven't made it to the NBA Finals. They haven't won a championship. But I don't want to say it's a fight for LA thing, because it's not, because you mentioned the 17 banners. But come on, the Lakers know what the scoreboard is, and the Clippers have had their number for quite a while.
Yeah, except last year, but nothing really to show for it. I think that it always, to me, comes back to, I'm surprised BC's not in the chat. He's a huge Laker fan. I'm sure he's watching your nightly postcast. He was boasting 2 nights ago when the Clippers beat Portland. Oh, Lakers are going to win this game easily. I'm surprised I'm not seeing him in there. Actually, I'm not surprised. But it always comes back to, it's the Clippers, kind of like the Chargers. It's the Chargers, and I think Clipper fans are always relentlessly positive that it's not going to be the Clippers. We're going to figure it out, and they're going to go on a nice run and, make a deep run in the playoffs and have a shot at winning a title one of these days. But you just never know. I mean, they do quite frequently lay an egg in the postseason. Last year was a perfect example, but not having Kawhi was a big part of that. So I think everyone, as far as Clipper fans go, just hold their breath that Kawhi can stay healthy. And I think that's why they're not really terribly upset right now about the minutes restriction, because it's like, whatever we got to do to keep that guy healthy when it matters. Right. So we'll see what it turns into. Tonight, the Lakers fall. Clippers win it 116-102 for their 24th win of the season. LeBron, 35 minutes, 25 points. We'll talk about his game after the break. It's the Locked On Clippers, Locked On Lakers crossover postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel.
Hey, want to mention the people over at FanDuel. Look, from the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets. If you win your first bet, that's $300 to keep the action going. FanDuel app is easy. It's easy to navigate, and a variety of bets keeps every game interesting and exciting. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings. Whether you're betting on your favorite team or just looking to add some extra excitement to the playoffs, FanDuel has you covered. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right. Hey, Pete, I want to ask you about the fan base real quick before you get to LeBron James.
Sure.
Okay, because when you just brought up something interesting, everybody has seen the thing on Instagram, real LA, fake LA, right? You see the side where it's Dodgers, Rams, Lakers, Kings, all on one side, and then you see fake LA, you see Chargers, Clippers, Ducks, Angels. So here's the interesting thing for me. When I look at the NFL, and, my dad was a Rams fan. At the same time, the Rams were here. They're the first LA professional sports team to be here out of all of them. They leave, they come back. And now you have the Chargers, and there's excitement factor. And you're hearing on the football side that if you're an established football fan, you're a Rams fan. If you're in the younger group, the group that is getting out of college, and the group that's starting to spend money and involved, that they become Charger fans. So when you look at the Lakers and the Clippers obviously were here before the Clippers. Clippers came to Los Angeles in 1984. What makes somebody pick the Clippers over the Lakers when you have an option?
I've asked myself this question 100 times. And by the way, when I took this job with Locked On, Tom Lee, who is our talent coordinator, said, all right, you're the first postcaster, so you can pick the 4 teams that you want to cover. But one thing, you can't pick all of the ones, is how he said it. And that's just what you just described. Lakers, Rams, Dodgers, Kings, so Trojans, Bruins, right? That type of thing. So anyway, I originally, my first team I picked was the Dodgers because I'm a huge fan, and that turned out well. And then, then I've been both a Lakers and a Clippers fan over the years, right? Because I did cover both teams when I worked at ESPN LA, and they're very different. So the answer to your question, to me, and again, a question I've asked myself a lot of time, many times, because people always ask me, who would watch the Clippers? Just in any sort of form. Like, why would you be a Clippers fan? And I said, well, there's a lot of reasons, but I think the main reason that people become Clippers fans is a counterculture mentality. It's just, I don't want to be a Lakers fan, but I live in LA and I like basketball, and I'm just not in on the whole Lakers thing. Now, is that the reason that people are Chargers fans versus Rams fans? I think that's very different, because the Rams are, they've been here, they left, they came back. That's a whole different thing. But when you look at Kings, Ducks, I think that has to do with where you live. Same thing for Dodgers, Angels, right? Pretty much, if you're an Orange County guy, you're an Angel fan. If you're in LA, you're a Dodger fan. That's pretty much how that breaks down. Of course, there are other reasons. Like, I just grew up a Dodgers fan, even though I was in Palm Springs, but I also liked the Angels prior to Artie Moreno being the owner.
Yeah.
So, there's always a reason, I think. It doesn't really break down that simply like it does in England when it comes to which football team you root for, because you root for the team that is, right down the street that your dad's dad rooted for. That's how it is in soccer in England, right? It's very simple. You don't root for the team across. There's 12 teams in London. Like you root for the team that's in your neighborhood. That's how it works. And I think a lot of that is true for the Dodgers, the Lakers, potentially the Rams. But I really do feel like for the Clipper fans, they're starting to get their own identity finally. And it has a lot to do with the Intuit Dome. They're starting to have more pride. I'm seeing more hats, more, flags, things of that nature around LA, because of the building, being the third fiddle at crypto.com for however long they were there, 20 years, 24, 25 years. They were after the Kings on the priority list, right? When it was ever, we got 2 games on the same day, the Clippers would always get shuffled to the bad time slot at noon or whatever, and the Kings would play the night game. So now that they have their own place, they can have their own identity. Nothing against the Clippers name, but I think they should have changed the name. They should have just whitewashed this whole thing and said, we are now a new team. Right. Yeah. But Ballmer was like, I'm not doing that. Like, okay, whatever. He could, as far as I was concerned, he could have moved him to Seattle. That would have made sense too. But I'm happy that they're still here. I'm happy that they're starting to create their own identity, and I hope they can make a run. I look at this team and I go, I feel they're good. Like they're pretty good, right? But are they Oklahoma City good? Boston good? Not yet. No, they're not even really Minnesota good, even though they're better record wise. They are still trying to figure out who they are. When you look at this Lakers team, I go, I don't know. Do they know who they are? Because I don't. And somebody in the comments was like, they don't have any identity. And I totally agree with that. They don't know who they are right now. What does it take for this Laker team to kind of take a step up and become a better team right now?
Okay, so right now when you look at the Lakers, and you mentioned LeBron James just a second ago, LeBron's the most reliable player they have. I mean, LeBron doesn't want to take time off. LeBron, at the beginning of the season said, I'm going to play in every single game. Tonight he finishes with 25 points, 9 of 20 from the field, 5 rebounds, 11 assists. I mean, at 40 years old, if he did that at 24, we'd say that's a great game. LeBron is being basically, they depend on him a lot. But if you watch the Lakers today, it was obviously there was an effort to get the ball to Anthony Davis. Look, just because he has the ball doesn't mean that he's in a position to do damage. I mean, the way they got him the ball, either he was off balance when he received it or he was so far away from the basket, nothing good was going to come out of those possessions. Austin Reeves, who had a career day the other day with 38 points, was like non-existent compared to what he did the other day. It was like, hey, whatever you do, just get the ball to AD. And it wasn't successful for the Lakers. And it looked like they were all out of sorts. I agree. They don't have an identity. Anthony Davis, 37 minutes, 5 of 14 from the field, going against a guy that's not an all-star, not considered one of the best big men in the league. He wasn't going against Giannis. He wasn't going against Wembanyama. And yet he ends up with it's disappointing.
Played well today, though. You got to give that guy a little bit of credit. He
played extremely well, and he always plays well against the Lakers, right? Yeah. He always does. It's like he never seems to forget that he was once a Laker, and the Lakers said, "Hey, you know what? You're one of those guys. There's the door." But he always steps up against the Lakers. My point is, Anthony Davis, if the plan was for him to get the ball, he wasn't ready to play. And there are times where it feels like AD. There are times where he's not there. This Laker team doesn't have an identity. There are guys on the team that seem a little bit frustrated, whether it's with their minutes or with what's happening on the scheme. But the offense stinks, and there's not a big effort to move the ball around, to create screens, to have the movement. Let's say a team even like the Golden State Warriors have to get Steph Curry the ball. The Lakers have nothing. The Lakers right now remind me of 5 guys that go to your local gym, all stand outside the 3-point line and say, just throw me the ball, even though none of them can shoot. The only team in the NBA that can do that consistently, Pete, is the Boston Celtics. They literally run an offense where they stand out there and they shoot the ball like that. And for the Lakers and JJ Redick, I'm disappointed in him and his assistant coaches because he has guys on that staff, Nate McMillan and Scott Brooks, that were former NBA head coaches, that have done nothing to fix the problem. Whereas I look at the Clippers tonight and I'm listening to the assistant coaches over there. By the way, a lot of them former Lakers. Very frustrating that they have a much better coaching staff than the Lakers have.
Yeah. I think LeBron is in large part of the success for the Lakers, and he's also part of the problem. And I think they're going to be dealing with this as long as he wants to hang out and play with his son, who gets 2 minutes and no points. So that I think that's going to be their issue for the next year or two, is much like the Lakers dealt with the end of Kobe's career. Like, hey, we owe you a lot, and we're going to let you go when you want to go. And those teams at the end of Kobe's career were awful. And it was because of Kobe. Unfortunately, had that one great game, his last game, scored 66. Fantastic. I was honored to be there. But they were not good. And I feel like this Laker team, as long as LeBron is around, it's not going to be good. Here's an answer to your question from Gavin, who does Locked On Angels, Locked On Rams, Locked On Bruins. He works for the Clippers in ticket sales. And his answer to your question is, someone who talks to the Clippers fans 9 to 5 every day, 90% of them say they picked the Clips because the tickets were cheaper growing up. He went on. Yeah, and that's a big part of it. And he added another reason I've heard, that Lakers represent Hollywood and stars, and the Clippers represent the blue collar areas of LA. Valid points, totally accurate, right on the head. And I think that separates these two teams. And to a certain extent, probably the same. That could be said for the Rams and Chargers as well. Angels, Dodgers. Yeah, I think a lot of people right now, because the Dodgers are just, acquiring every free agent on the
I love every minute of it. I'm a huge Dodger fan like you, Pete. Love every minute of it. I know we don't talk Dodger baseball on this show. I will say this. I had a offseason wish list, and outside of getting Kiki back, they've gotten everything I wanted on that list. Getting Tanner Scott today, man, I was on cloud 9. I couldn't believe it. Loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of people that, like, if you're a diehard fan, you're like, this is great, this is amazing. Yes, let's keep stacking the deck. There are other people that are like, this is just unfair, and screw the Dodgers. I'm sure that there are plenty of people that feel that way. So, it's what makes our town interesting for sure. Kawhi Leonard tonight, 19 points. Derek Jones Jr. had 9. Zubac's a very solid game, 9 of 16. Double-double, 21 points to go with 19 boards. James Harden, 21 points and 12 assists. 22 for Norm. He had 2 threes, 9 of 17 from the floor. And off the bench, Kevin Porter had 8. Amir Coffey had 6. LeBron led the way for the Lakers with 25. Hachimura had 19. And AD, a bit of an off night. 6 for 6 at the line, but 5 of 14 from the floor for 16 points. So Clippers are back at it tomorrow at Intuit against the Bulls. What do the Lakers have coming up?
Lakers have Tuesday hosting the Wizards. Should be a win. Then lucky for the Lakers, while the Celtics are playing on Wednesday against your Clippers, the Lakers have the day off, and then they will host the Boston Celtics on Thursday. And for Laker fans, man, do we want that win against Boston as always.
That would be fantastic. So it's fun, crazy week in the NBA in LA for sure. Dave, it's a blast, dude. I can't wait to do it again in a couple of weeks. So
absolutely. That was a lot of fun.
I'm sure it'll be over at Crypto, to the best of my knowledge. And you can drive, and I'll sit in the passenger seat. For Dave Pillay, host of the Locked On Lakers Postcast, I am Pete Fox. On the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. We appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. Where I got to remember how to get out of this damn thing. Where's the outro? I forget where the outro is in the crossover. Mini Christmas. Where is it? Intro. Why do you get out of this thing?
I don't know. I'm going top right as my guest. Going top right.
That's corner. Just to end it, but there it is right there. Okay, cool. That's not it either. Where is it? Oh, here it is. I got it. Okay. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Craig, thanks for the comments. You guys have a good night. I will talk to you tomorrow. Dave will talk to you on Tuesday. Dave, take care. We'll talk soon.
You too. Dude, hilarious.